Hey, everybody. Happy Sunday evening. Welcome to the Shibboleth Lifestyle Overview. We do this class every Sunday night. So I hope that you are ready to learn how to burn fat efficiently, because that's what we're going to teach you how to do tonight. Shibboleth is a management system, and we are going to hear what it takes to make this management system work in your life. While we are waiting for everybody to hop on, just like Lynn did, please say hello. Well, first of all, set your chat to all panelists and attendees so that we can all see what you're chatting. And then please say hello, where you're from. I also love to know if you are here because you are new or if you are getting a refresh. And if you are friends with somebody who told you about Shibboleth, let me know how you heard about Shibboleth. So, because if you're friends with Patty Bass, who has been sponsoring like crazy, please let me know if you are friends with Patty. I want to give you a shout out. Joy from Dallas, Georgia, new member. Welcome, Joy. Glad you're here. Lynn, Carrollton, Georgia, Michelle Harper, awesome. This helps me put people together. Becky from Tryon, Georgia, heard about Shibboleth from Missy Barrett, awesome. And Doris Griffin from Noonan, Georgia. Paula Brown, Macon, Georgia, new member. And Linda Daniels from Hickson, Tennessee, friends with Belinda Rogers. Awesome. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. And Joy, if you don't mind, if you'll just set your chat for me to all panelists and attendees. Okay. Hey, Amy. Amy from Georgia, friends with Katie Smith and Kathy Hoffman, who are Shibboleth members. And I got to meet Amy yesterday. She came to our location in Kennesaw since she lives very, very close. Well, welcome. Glad you're here tonight, Amy. I usually give everybody until 8:03 to get logged into Zoom, just in case this is the first time they're ever having to use Zoom. Hey, Paula Brown is friends with Larissa Hayes. Awesome. Awesome. Good. I heard about, so I'll just kind of go ahead and tell my little story while we're waiting. Hey, Angie from Cartersville, Georgia. Glad you're here with us. So I found Shibboleth in April of 2019 when I got on the scales one morning and I weighed 185.5 and I didn't want to weigh 185.5. So I went back to Facebook because my friend had been posting about something and I had not been paying attention to it because I wasn't ready for it, right? You're not ready for it, you don't pay attention to it. But when I was ready for it, what did I do? Went right back to her page, scrolled through all of her pictures and all of her posts until I found, oh, she's posting about something called Shibboleth. And I just dialed her number at that point and said, hey, what is this that you're doing? So she told me about it. And I said, that sounds really interesting. And then I went on their website and I scoured the website and I said, okay, this is really cool. And then I went, wait a minute, they actually have a location. Let me go to this location. Now, most people that do this lifestyle just do it virtually, but they had a location near me. So I went there and they only have one. So I went there and I said, this is legit. I'm going to sign up. So I signed up. I started watching the daily doses, which is how Travis taught the program originally. I was in a hotel room in Austin, Texas, watching these daily doses. And when I got back from that work trip, I went to the grocery store and started Shibboleth. And honestly, I figured out by watching those videos, all you have to do is switch around the way that you're eating your foods, buy a few things different at the grocery store, and then start putting in all of the other parts of the lifestyle, which is really just a management system. So in the first week, I lost 9 pounds. In the first month, I lost 18.5 pounds, which is exactly what they say that you'll lose. They say you'll lose 10% of your body weight in the first month if you're following the lifestyle. I lost to the percentage the amount that they said. I mean, does that not just make you trust something even more when it's starting to hit those little benchmarks? And then from that point on, I lost 35.5 pounds in 3 months. That's all I wanted to lose. But guess what happened? I went into our maintenance program, lost another 15 pounds for a total of 50 pounds. Have you ever been on a lifestyle or tried a diet that gave you more than you expected? Probably not. Well, Shibboleth will. And it gave me that. And I have been maintaining that 50-pound weight loss now for over 18 months. And I am happy to say that I'm doing it happily, not begrudgingly. So I'm glad that you're here with me tonight. I'm going to share my screen with you. We're going to go over a PowerPoint. You will have access to this PowerPoint after this class, so don't feel like you have to screenshot or anything like that. If you're going to do anything, I'd rather you take notes, okay? So first of all, Shibboleth is a lifestyle, okay? And if you're wondering where the name Shibboleth came from, there is a video in the Shibboleth new member fast track group on Facebook. It's in the announcements, and you can watch that and hear all of the details about Travis's heart and where that came from and why it came about as that name. But I am Kim Dankey. I am the fast track instructor. And if you'll notice right here, this says lifestyle. The first 4 letters in lifestyle are life. The first 3 letters in the word diet are die. So we've got to find a lifestyle that we are willing to marry and just enjoy it for the whole rest of our life. And this is it for me. This is what I'd always been kind of hoping and searching for that I would find. Gloria, work it, girl. You can do it. You can do it. Gloria said she needs to work the program. That's right. Let's work it. Okay, what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to teach you the basics. Anytime you are learning something new, you got to look at it like you're like kindergarten, like elementary school. Let's just learn the basics. So there's just going to be the terms that we're going to teach you and what you have to put into place. Now, are there advanced topics and things like that? Yeah, but that's as you move up, okay? And you graduate to other grades. I used to be a school teacher and a principal, so that's why I use those analogies. But what we're going to do tonight is teach you the terminologies that you're going to hear, you're going to see, you're going to read, and you're going to need to know what people are talking about when you hear them on Facebook and all of these little support groups. So on Shibboleth, there are 2 modes. We have weight loss mode or maintenance mode. Weight loss or maintenance. There are 3 differences between these 2 modes. They're simple differences too. One is the number of holidays that you can use in a calendar month. We'll talk about that in a second. 2 is how you eat fruit. Yeah, that's simple. How you eat fruit. We'll talk about that later too. And 3 is your mindset. Many people start this off as a diet, okay? But by the time you are getting all of this under your belt and you're living this lifestyle, hey, Brenda, I see you on there, Brenda. After you have gotten this lifestyle from diet to lifestyle, your mindset hopefully is to the lifestyle mindset, okay? I hope you understand that. There are 2 types of days. We are either going for a perfect day or we're just having a holiday. In the past, you may have heard a word or 2 called cheat day. We do not cheat on Shibboleth, okay? Cheating has a negative connotation. We do not cheat on Shibboleth. We have a holiday. We have a fun holiday. So we're going to have a perfect day or a holiday. If you joined with a membership, that when you click on your journal and that drop down menu drops down and there's like 12 choices and you're thinking, oh my goodness, what are all these days? I do not want you to worry about that in fast track. You don't worry about that in your 7 to 10 first days. I mean, really, you don't even need to worry about it, honestly, until, 6 months. Let the regular Shibboleth lifestyle sink in. Then you can advance to those other types of days if you want to. But when you're journaling, don't even worry about or concern yourself with those other days. You're looking for a perfect day or a holiday. That's it. So how many holidays are allowed? When you are in weight loss mode, you can use up to 6 holidays in a calendar month. Once you get to maintenance, you can use up to 12 holidays in a calendar month. So the way that I do it is I look at the month. So when February 1st came around, I looked at the month. I asked myself 3 questions. Am I going out of town? because typically I want a holiday when I'm going out of town. Then I ask myself, are there any birthdays, anniversaries, or actual holidays in this month that I would like to have a holiday for? Then I mark them down. And then I ask myself, is there anything else on my calendar already that revolves around food and that I might need to want to have a holiday for? Those are the days that I mark on my calendar. Now, sometimes when I get finished writing all those on my calendar, there's more than 6. Well, that's when I just start peeling back the ones that aren't as important for having a holiday. So in weight loss mode, if you go no more than 6 holidays in a calendar month, you will have wonderful and great success. Okay, so that's part of the management system, putting into place that you're not going to have more than 6 holidays in a month. Please know on those other days, you're eating great. There's plenty to eat, but a holiday is some day where you're not meeting the parts of a perfect day. We're going to go over that in a second. But once you get to maintenance, you can utilize up to 12 holidays in a calendar month. So, how do you have a perfect day? You simply follow the Shibboleth shield. Now, a shield is there to protect you, it's there to keep you safe. If you are doing the things on this shield, you will have great results. If you are not doing the things on the shield, you can't expect to have the great results. This is not pick and choose, this is not cafeteria style. So, we want to make sure that you know what to put into play every single day. So after two perfect days, your body gets into a state called EFB, baby, efficient fat burning. And that is exactly what we want to do. We want to preserve muscle while targeting and accessing fat. All fat is stored energy. We overate by X number of calories on one day that did not get burned and they got stored. They didn't get burned the next day and they got stored, and it just happened over multiple days. So we have stored energy on our body. That's what we want to access and get rid of. But everything that you're going to do on Shibboleth is going to be there to preserve muscles and access fat. So there's 5 components to a perfect day: water, journaling, combinations, portions, and timing. These 5 things. I call these, this is what I've called them, my 5 daily disciplines. Because look at those things. After I started putting those into play every day, it became a discipline every single day to get the water in. It became a discipline to journal. It became a discipline to combine foods in a way that control insulin. It became a discipline to portion control. And it became a discipline to give myself time between meals and stop eating fairly early in the evening. So it became those disciplines. So that's why I call them the 5 daily disciplines. Component number 1 of the shield is to drink your water. You simply want to get in at least half a gallon of water, and you can be working towards a gallon of water. So a half a gallon to a gallon of water. If you don't get in the half a gallon, it could not be called a perfect day. Okay, so make sure that you get in the half a gallon for sure. That's what the minimum requirement is, but shoot for the gallon. When you are drinking a gallon of water, one, you're busy and you are not thinking about eating, you are more mentally and physically satisfied. It also helps normalize your hydration levels. So if you're looking for the ounces on that, it's 64 ounces at a minimum up to 128 ounces. Yes, you can drink more, but is there really a reason to? Not necessarily. So you'd be really great with the somewhere in between that. If you're trying to find a happy medium, at least do half of your body weight in ounces of water. A dehydrated body will not efficiently give up fat or waste. So we need our body to be giving up fat and waste, and water will help us do that. Component number 2 of the Shibboleth Shield is to journal, okay? So you are now a citizen of Planet Shibboleth. And on Planet Shibboleth, there are no idle bites. No idle bites on Planet Shibboleth, okay? So if you put it in your mouth, you want to write it down. So if you bite it, you write it. If you nibble it, you scribble it. If you drink it, you ink it. If you hog it, you log it, okay? We write down absolutely everything that goes in our mouth. This right here, This is what's going to help you with behavior modification. We have to modify our behaviors. Our behaviors have gotten us into a spot where we're not happy with where we are. And so we've got to do something to modify those behaviors. We do find that people that journal lose 2 to 3 times more weight than those that don't. So this is a very important activity. Component number 3 of the shield is combinations. We're going to eat properly combined meals. We're going to eat in a way that controls insulin, aka the fat bus. Insulin is a hormone we call the fat bus because it stores fat. Properly combined meals keep away the fat bus. Okay, so in just a minute, we're going to go over one slide like a little nutshell overview, but tomorrow night's full 1 hour is all on this topic because out of the 5 components of the shield, only one of them has to do with food. This one, but it's a biggie, right? It's pretty important, right? So there's 1 full hour on this tomorrow night. So make sure that you have registered for tomorrow night's class as well. Component number 4 of the shield is portions. We're going to eat properly portioned meals from a 6 to 8 inch plate using the 2-hand rule. Okay, so when I say a 6 to 8 inch plate, I don't really mean the 2-inch rim around the plate, 6 inches right in the middle. Okay, right there in the middle. No matter what size plate you have, the 2-hand rule trumps whatever size plate that you have. Okay, so we're going to put our fingers together as closely as possible. We're going to move our thumbs out of the way. You're going to put your hands together as close as possible. You're going to lower your hands down over your food and you're going to look at it. And you do not want to be able to see your food sticking out from around your hands. Our tummies are really no bigger than this. Okay. And you don't want it any thicker than the thickest part of your hand. Now you have to keep in mind if you order a thick steak, but it's 6 ounces and it's just taller than your hand. No, don't worry about that. That's a reasonable amount. But you can see what I'm saying. What I'm saying is don't pile up that Thanksgiving plate and then say, I can't see my food. That kind of thing. Okay. We're trying to have our portions be no bigger than our stomach. And each person's hands are a good measurement of what's relative to the size of their stomach. So that's what we're going to use. So make sure that you are using the 2-hand rule. So we have currently gone over 4 of the 5 components of the shield, the daily disciplines. This is what I want you to understand about these. These things are things that tomorrow you can take action on them tomorrow. These aren't conceptual things that you just think about. These are things that you take action on. Okay, at the end of the day, you can measure whether or not you met each of those qualifications. Now, I do have to tell you, I journal in the morning, having a perfect day, because I want to get my mindset straight and I want to declare that perfect day because I don't want to give it up and give into a holiday when I don't have that already planned for that day. Okay. So I declare my day early, but you'll know whether the end of the day, you'll measure these and go, yep, I drank my water. Yep, I journaled. Yep, I ate in a way that controlled insulin with the combinations. Yep, I portion controlled. You can measure all of that. So those are the 4 things that you have to meet in order to say that you're having a perfect day. Okay, so let me say that again, because we're going for a perfect day or a holiday. Those first 4 things are the ones that you have to meet in order to say that you're having a perfect day. Okay. And it's really important that you mark these days in your journal because they create icons in your timing chart. And if you are working your way through the fast track laps this week, all of these little tasks and these laps are going to help you see how that works. Okay. Now, this one is ultra important, ultra important. There's a lot of information in this one, but we all live a different life schedule. We all wake up at different times. We have different start times for our jobs. We have different people living in our household and things that we have to take care of. So timing is really about optimization. Okay. So I'm going to give you the way that it should be done, but if by chance you don't hit the timing exactly right, it's not going to throw you out of having a perfect day. All right. So Travis, in his heart of hearts, does not want us to have more than three, what he's going to call, when you start getting into Travis's teachings and everything, okay, he's not going to want you to have more than three eating episodes in a day, which could be 3 meals. Or it could be 2 meals and a snack, but he doesn't really want you to have more than 3 meals in a day. Hey, Stephen on Facebook. So, but what I'm going to do in this new member class is I'm going to teach you good, better, and best, okay? Because every day is going to be slightly different for you. So you can have up to 3 meals a day, and that's really best, okay? These meals should be 4 to 6 hours apart. One of the issues that we've got going on in this world today is that we are grazing and we're really never giving our digestive system a break from digesting. I know that you've heard a lot about digestive issues and things like that that are out there. But and one of the problems is we're never giving our body a break. If you have a machine and that machine never gets a break, then it's going to eventually break down. Think of your digestive system as a machine, and if we're never giving it a break, it's going to break down. And people end up with diverticulitis, they end up with Crohn's and IBS and all these different things. Well, a lot of them, they're not ever giving their system a break from digesting. So if you are a breakfast eater, then I'm going to say maybe you eat at 8 and then wait again until noon. That's 4 hours. Well, then maybe you eat dinner at 6. That's 6 hours. That sounds very reasonable. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That honestly is plenty. Okay. But with that said, we do know that a lot of people, when they come into Shibboleth, are changing habits of grazing all day. So if in a moment of what Travis calls mental weakness, that you need to give in to something, then we have things for you to use. Okay. So we have things called freebies, an extra, and a snack. And as part of going through the fast track laps this week, you're going to learn more about the things that are considered freebies, the things that are considered an extra, and the things that are considered a snack. Okay. But I want you to keep in mind that if you ate breakfast and then had an extra, and then you had lunch, and then you had a snack, then you ate dinner, and then you had freebies all night long, that looks like grazing. Okay. But if all of these things were Shibboleth approved items that controlled insulin that you also didn't overeat, that would still be a perfect Shibboleth day. Okay. That would be a good Shibboleth perfect day because you would be eating portion controlled when probably weren't before, and you'd be eating in a way that controls insulin, which you probably weren't before. So this is still going to create results. Okay. But then over time, maybe you start backing out on some of those things. You're like, okay, I'm getting used to this. Let me take out the freebies, or let me take out the extra or the snack or something like that. Okay. So let's say that you had 3 meals and then maybe you just needed a freebie. And so you had a sugar-free Jello, something like that. That would be an even better Shibboleth perfect day. But then if you just do 3 meals or 3 eating episodes, which can be 3 meals or 2 meals and a snack, that would be one of the best Shibboleth perfect days. Okay. So just keep in mind that the timing part is all about optimization. Now, we're going to get you started with this. And a lot of people ask question about how early should I stop eating before I go to bed. I would try at least 4 hours. So if you go to bed at 10, I wouldn't want to eat after 6. Give yourself about 4 hours to start that digesting before you go to bed. Here's why. A different hormone comes out at night that is a cellular recovery hormone. And if your body's digesting, it doesn't do the other as well. And to keep ourselves looking nice and young and healthy in that way, we want to make sure that our body isn't having to digest all night long. So that's just a really good tip. But if you don't make that by chance one day, that's fine. That one isn't going to kick you out of having a perfect day. If you get home from work late and you need to eat late, that's not going to kick you out of having a perfect day if everything else has been met. All right. So I hope that makes sense to you. Okay. So how do we put together a properly combined meal? So what I need to teach you in order to learn this is that there are 7 categories of food. So we put all whole foods into 7 categories. And there are other boxed and other foods that go into these 7 categories too, depending on their nutritional makeup and nutritional value and how they respond in your body. So all of these foods go into these categories based on 2 things, their nutrition and how they respond in your body. Okay, so what I need to go over right now is the categories, the long name that we use, and an abbreviation for them. Because sometimes you have to use an abbreviation to get all the information on a chart or something, and I want you to be familiar with that. So category 1 is a lean protein, or LP. This is where you'll find chicken breast, turkey breast, egg whites, and such. Category 2, fibrous carb, FC. That's where you're going to find broccoli, green beans, cauliflower, asparagus, those types of foods. But there are over 60 approved breads or bread type items in that category that you can use. Now, obviously, less bread is still best, even a high quality bread that we would have approved, but they are there for you because our lifestyle does not exclude any macronutrients at all. Now, as you advance in your Shibboleth education, you may decide to forget bread altogether. But if you want bread or like bread, then it is available. You just want to make sure you're using the right one. Excuse me. The breads that we use, the reason they qualify to be a fibrous carb is because they break down in your body more like a green bean does than an actual bread. So it's fiber content in there. Category 3, energy carb, or EC. This is where all of your potatoes are, and corn, and even tomatoes and onions, and we'll talk about that more tomorrow. Category 4, protein plus fat. This is where your whole eggs are, all cuts of steak, dark meat chicken, chicken with skin. Category 5, fruit, FR, also known as antioxidant carb, or AC. And the reason I point that out is every once in a while in a document, I'll see antioxidant carb, and I just want you to know that that's a fruit. Okay, all fruit is in that category. Category 6, superfood, SF. And that's where you're going to find your nut butters, your nuts, your seeds, avocado, most of your darker colored beans, and such. Category 7, shellfish, SHF. Now, shellfish is really anything that lives in the water that's not a fish, because we put all fish up here in lean protein. But the shellfish, it got pulled off of lean protein, even though it really is a lean protein, it just got pulled off of there because some people, due to biblical reasons and medical reasons, don't want to eat shellfish. So we just pulled it off on its own category. So if you don't eat shellfish, you don't even have to worry about category 7s. But this is where your shrimp, lobsters, and things like that are. But the reason I was saying anything that swims in water that's not a fish goes in shellfish, even if it doesn't have a shell. So octopus, for example, would be right here, but it doesn't have a shell. So anyway, okay, so you have the 7 categories. Category 1 and category 7, they are the bookends of the lifestyle. These are your lean proteins. So when you are maybe online or talking with somebody about, hey, I want to eat this, and they say, oh, you're going to need to have a lean protein with that, just know that that lean protein can come from category 1 or category 7 if you eat category 7s. So when you're looking at this chart over here, we have red, yellow, and blue. The blue column is our lifestyle column. You're going to see a little bit more variety in that column. This blue column, if you were doing every single meal from the blue column, this would be like taking the scenic route to the beach. Okay, but let's say that you want to go faster, then you would take the red column, which would be getting on the interstate and going to the beach. Now, both people are going to get to the beach, but the one in the red is just going to get there faster. Okay, so if you and you can even dip into the yellow column too, but the red and yellow column are faster weight loss, and the blue is fast weight loss. It's just a little bit slower than these other two because you have more variety and you are putting things on the plate that bring a little bit more of an insulin release. So you just want to kind of keep that in mind. When you are looking at this chart here, see how that says 1 LP? That doesn't mean quantity. That's the category number. So this is category 1 lean protein. This next line says category 1 lean protein plus MCT. MCT is an oil. We're going to talk about that in a second. This is category 1 lean protein and category 2 fibrous carb. Okay, so like I said, this is not your quantity. So like when you come over here and you see this 6, that doesn't mean quantity. That means category 6 superfood. All right, so I hope that makes sense. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to go over the rules of how to eat these foods together. First thing I want to say, and if you're writing things down, please write this down because I will ask you this tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, I ask lots of questions. So I do hope that you will respond back. Out of these 7, 5 of these categories don't even have to be combined at all. So I say that because, every day is different. Every meal is different. We're going to teach you how to eat situationally, because you might end up at a luncheon where you're looking at all the things that are there and you're going, ooh, that brings the fat bus, that brings the fat bus, that brings the fat bus. Oh, they've got steak. I'll eat that. You can do that. That's okay. Okay. Now, is that optimal for every single meal? No, it's optimal to put it with something that will, like a fibrous carb or something. But if you want to and need to eat that item by itself, you can. Okay. Now, we're not going to make like a big old fatty plate of stuff when I say that, but this is all situationally. So if you're writing things down, and I hope that you are, please write this down. So the 5 categories that can be eaten alone are number 1, number 2, number 4, number 6, and number 7. So those are the 5 that can be eaten alone. You can eat lean protein by itself. You can eat fibrous carbs by itself. You can eat protein plus fat by itself. You can eat superfood by itself. You can eat shellfish by itself. Okay. So yep, Amy, awesome. Yes. So you cannot eat 3s, which are your energy carbs, and 5s, which are your fruit, by themselves. So let's talk about that fruit real quick, because those of you that love fruit out there, y'all might be right now going, what? Oh my goodness, I got to have my fruit. In weight loss mode, fruit must be combined properly. So if you would like to eat some fruit, it must be eaten with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. Same thing with energy carb. If you want to eat an energy carb, it must be eaten with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. Now, once you get to maintenance, if you're a fruit person, you can have a piece of fruit as a snack if you want to. But in weight loss mode, don't do that, because fruit has those natural sweeteners in there. They do increase your blood sugar. They elevate your blood sugar, and your pancreas will secrete insulin. We are here to eat in a way that controls insulin. Therefore, in weight loss mode, it's ultra important that you eat fruit properly. But remember how in the beginning I said there's 2 modes, and the 3 differences were between weight loss and maintenance? 1, the number of holidays that you get. 2, how you eat fruit. So in weight loss mode, you eat fruit combined properly. In maintenance mode, you can still eat fruit combined properly, and really you should if you're having a full meal. But if you also just want to snack one day as a piece of fruit, you can do that. And then obviously your mindset by the time you get from weight loss to maintenance. Let's see. Danny, is it okay that I don't love fruit or most vegetables? Guess what, Danny? Me either. I don't like it either. And I lost 50 pounds. So yeah, can I just tell you something, Danny? This whole lifestyle freed me up from the thought that I should be eating things I don't like. Now, have I also branched out though and learned new things from all of the wonderful people that we get to be around? Yeah, I have. I have branched out and I've learned to like a few things, but it is totally okay. You can find plenty to eat. Yes, yes. Oh, uh-oh, uh-oh. Okay, so on And so the next thing I'm going to want you to know is if you're writing things down, write this down. If you want to eat a 3 or a 5, it must be eaten with a lean protein, which is a 1 or a 7, and a fibrous carb. We're going to talk about what these plates look like and everything, okay? Next thing I want you to write down. We don't eat category 4s, okay? See, category 4, look what word it's got in it, fat. But all I want you to do with that word fat is to know that we have to treat it special because we don't want it to get stored. The word fat right there itself is not bad. Our bodies actually need fats for certain functions. So in a portion controlled way, these fats are fine for us. Our body's going to use them for the functions that it needs. And then that fat is going to dissipate as heat. Okay, it's going to dissipate as energy in the form of heat. But what you don't eat with the protein plus fats is anything that can bring more of an insulin release. 3s, which are your energy carbs, 5s, which is your fruit, and 6s, which are your superfoods. Those are the ones you don't eat with protein plus fat. Okay, so let's talk about that protein plus fat. You can eat it by itself if you want to. Now, if you wake up in the morning and the only thing that you have in your refrigerator are some eggs and you decide to make yourself some scrambled eggs, perfect meal, good to go, you're fine. Now, if you then decide to make yourself full fat bacon and full fat cheese and all of that on this plate, and you say, hey, that's all protein plus fat. No, that doesn't really work, okay? Because that we're trying to control our fats, because if we do have some insulin release later in the day, we don't want those fat lipids running around inside of our body. We still want to portion control that, okay? And you want to make sure that anything and everything that you're eating is a approved item. All right. Now, then if you wanted to, you could do protein plus fat with a fibrous carb. That would be optimal. Okay, so let's talk about some science real quick. Let's talk about that plate, that classic plate of a steak and baked potato. So Amy, you would also need a category 2. So if you are eating a 3 or a 5, if you're eating a 3 or a 5, you must eat it with a lean protein from either one of those categories, 1 or 7, and a category 2. We're going to talk about that science in just a second. So just add a 2 to that in your mind, Amy. Okay. Yes, and 2. Okay. So the classic plate of a steak and a baked potato. How many of you like steak and baked potato? I do. And do I still get to eat steak and baked potato on Shibboleth? I certainly do. I could do it up to 6 times a month. I never even ate steak and baked potato up to 6 times a month anyway, but I can do it. So there's nothing that you can't eat on Planet Shibboleth. It is just what you decide to eat on certain days. That is the management system part of it, okay? Because we do individual days, not individual meals. The whole day needs to be a perfect day. So that steak is a great protein. It's good fats. Okay, we're going to use that. Our body's going to use that up. The problem didn't come with a portion controlled piece of protein plus fat. The problem came with eating it with the potato. So let's talk about the potato. You eat the potato, your blood sugar elevates. In that blood sugar elevation, your pancreas goes, oops, I got to deal with that. So it secretes insulin. The insulin comes out to regulate your blood sugar, but it gets super excited and says, wait a minute, they ate this with a fat. I'm going to go collect the fat. And that's what it does. Let's say that you now know this, because once you find information out, you are responsible for what you do with it. You now know this and you say, okay, I'm going to have broccoli or green beans or a side salad with that steak instead. There was nothing in that to bring an insulin release. So none of that fat was going to get stored. It's going to get used up as energy, dissipate as heat. Okay. So there's the difference in just switching one item there you're eating with something else. Okay. So let's say that you want to eat that category 3. Let's just say that you want to eat that potato. This is really preferred that you do it at home because you have more control with that if you're wanting a perfect day. So let's say that you want to eat some potato. Well, in weight loss mode, when you're eating an energy carb, about a quarter of a cup is plenty, okay? Because you're using your two-hand rule, right? So your quarter of a cup is going to sit about right here. So let's just talk that your little potato amount is right there. Well, now that you learned this, you know I have got to put this with a lean protein and a fibrous carb. So our steak's out in this case, okay? Because no matter what, that doesn't work. Even if you're not at the Longhorn, if you're at home, it still doesn't work. Chicken breast. Let's say that we put our lean protein source right here. This is our chicken breast, and we're just going to say green beans, okay? Chicken breast, green beans, potato, portion controlled. All right, this is my lean protein measuring tool. This palm is my fibrous carb measuring tool. My fingers are my energy carb measuring tool. Okay, so we got our little plate. We got our little plate here. The potato is going to elevate your blood sugar. Your pancreas is going to secrete insulin. Now that you know this information, you've decided to eat it with chicken breast and green beans. The protein that's in the chicken breast and the fiber that's in the green beans is going to help neutralize the insulin release that came from the potato. You are using that whole meal. That whole meal combined together is going to control the insulin from the potatoes. Yay! That was a yummy, awesome meal that didn't store fat. Okay. Well, there's no fat in that meal, really. There's no fat in the lean protein. There's no fat in potatoes. There's no fat in green beans. See, isn't that funny? There's no fat in potatoes. It's the insulin release that it triggers in your body that'll store fat if you've eaten it with it. I hope this is making sense. Y'all give me some thumbs up if this science lesson is making sense. Because to me, knowing this science behind this was just life changing. So I start to see these foods like, ooh, I don't put this number with this number because I don't want that to happen in my body. It's almost like our body is having a science experiment every time we eat. Well, let's win the blue ribbon at the science fair, okay, by knowing what to do with this. Awesome. I'm glad y'all are saying this makes sense. Awesome. And y'all can also see how this becomes a daily discipline, that we put into play in our life. Okay, so we're going to recap. Category 1 and Category 2. So Category 1 is your lean protein with a Category 2 fibrous carb cooked up in MCT oil is your fastest fat burning combination. And we call it exercise on a plate. I like exercise on a plate. Or Category 7 shellfish, which is really just a lean protein and a fibrous carb cooked up in MCT oil is another one of your fastest fat burning combinations. When you are in fast track, 7 to 10 days, I mean, even for your first month, honestly, just keep it super simple, okay? And then just start easing into other things. And because there's so much variety on this lifestyle, it's amazing. So keep it super simple. If you want to eat a 3 or a 5, which is your energy carb or your fruit, you must eat it with a lean protein, which can come from either one of those categories, 1 or 7, and a fibrous carb. And we just don't eat category 4s, which are our protein plus fat, with the categories that can bring more of an insulin release. So we're not going to eat those with our energy carbs, fruit, or superfoods. Last little point right here, all meat at a restaurant should be considered a category 4. Here's why. At a restaurant, let's say that you want some potato and you want to make that potato green bean chicken breast meal that I was talking about because you know the combinations. Here's the problem. You don't know what oil they cooked that chicken breast in. See, when you cook that at home, you can control it. But when they go out to restaurants, they probably didn't use MCT oil, I can tell you that. So they probably used olive oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, some other oil. It's not approved. So if you ate what you thought was a lean protein in that case, the insulin release that came from the potatoes would collect the oil, the fat that was on that lean protein. So just consider all meat at a restaurant category 4, and doing that will keep you safe. because then you know not to order it with energy, carbs, fruit, or superfoods. All right, let's see. Yep, you're right, Amy. Yep, awesome, Danny. I love it. Educated choices. It is. It is educated choices. We have these new daily disciplines and educated choices that we can make, which are awesome and fabulous. But then we also get holidays that we can use for celebratory reasons, and it just creates a wonderful, balanced lifestyle. All right, approved cooking oils. So we're going to talk about this magical MCT oil. So MCT oil is a medium chain triglyceride. Now we're going to compare that to a long chain triglyceride. So a long chain triglyceride is olive oil, canola oil, vegetable oil, avocado oil, and such. Okay. Those are a longer fat lipid and they're denser. So they take a long time to burn up. In fact, they have a great propensity to be stored on the body as fat because many of us aren't out there, doing bodybuilding and running marathons and all of that. And it's hard to break those LCTs down. And so they often get stored as fat just because there wasn't enough energy exerted in the day to burn it down. So we're not going to use those. They cause problems. We're going to use medium chain triglycerides. Guess what? They have almost no propensity to be stored on the body as fat, and they're a great oil. So what you're going to be looking for is 100% MCT oil. Now, I highly suggest that you buy the one from Shibboleth. Shibboleth isn't a company about trying to make you buy things from us. Okay, it's not. And I'm going to tell you how to find the MCT oil at other places if you want to. But the reason I like the MCT oil at Shibboleth is because it has 100 calories per tablespoon, where every other MCT oil I've seen out there on the market has 130. Well, if I'm trying to, I should have said this earlier. See, the one reason we portion control is because in order to lose fat, we have to get into a calorie deficit of 3,500 calories. In 1 pound of fat, y'all write this down. In 1 pound of fat, there's 3,500 calories. Okay, so we got to get into a calorie deficit to burn that. Well, but we don't highly focus on calories either, though. We focus more on the combinations and the portions, because if you do all that, it's going to work itself out. But you still want to, like Danny said, make this educated choice. So if I have an oil that's an MCT oil that has 100 calories in it and one that has 130 calories in it, well, I'm going to use the one that has 100. So if you want to order that from the Shibboleth website, you can. Anything that you order $30 or more, it ships for free. And it shows up on your door in a couple of days if you'd like to get it. It's called Zero Drag. That's the brand name of it. But if that, you don't want to buy from Shibboleth for some reason, you don't have to. But you could buy our next recommended MCT oil is Now. NOW. That brand is what the second one that Travis recommends. But honestly, you could buy anything that you find in the grocery store or supermarket, wherever you're buying your groceries, but it's got to say in the ingredients. So flip that bottle over, because they're trying to sell you stuff out there. They want to sell you MCT oil because there's a lot of talk about it right now. So flip that bottle over and look at the ingredients. It needs to say medium chain triglycerides or 100% medium chain triglycerides. But if they add the prepositional phrase from coconut oil or from palm oil, no, that is not 100% MCTs. Back to explain why. Yes, you can. And Amy was pointing out that if you go to our website in the food library and you click on the Now brand, you can get to Amazon to buy that through our website. And when you do that, when you go through our food library to buy an item or even get to Amazon, even if you don't want that item, just to use one of our links, it does help our ministry a little bit. They give us 2 to 4 cents on the dollar back, depending on the item. So thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. So the reason that you don't want it to say from coconut oil or from palm oil or anything like that is because coconut oil is not 100% MCTs. It's 66% MCTs. So it's our second choice for a cooking oil. It is our second choice. MCT is our number one. Okay, so if it says from coconut oil on there, they're just trying to sell you some high-priced They're trying to sell you some high-priced MCT oil under the name of I mean, they're trying to sell you some high-priced coconut oil under the name of MCT, okay? So that is why you don't want to, you want to make sure it just says medium chain triglycerides, 100% medium chain triglycerides. Our third recommended cooking oil is ghee butter, Ghee. Now that's different from the meal replacement called Ghee butter, okay? So ghee butter is butter. It's just been clarified, all right? So that butter that's been clarified, there's, I can't remember, it's either 40 or 45% that it's MCTs on that. So basically it's taking all the milk solids out and the things like that that can create an insulin release is removed from the butter and you just have the good fat left. That's what ghee butter is, okay? So what I love about this is ghee butter. Let's say that you need something that's got butter flavor. Maybe you're making shrimp scampi. Maybe you're wanting to dip some lobster tail in some butter or some crab legs into some butter. That's fine. Use ghee butter. It works for you. It doesn't work against you as regular butter does. Okay. So we you know, Travis and us, we like to eat. Okay. But we got to eat in a way that helps us, not hurts us. So it's this information that you're now receiving that's going to be very, very important to you. And then obviously you can use 0-calorie cooking spray. Now, this is what I do. When I am cooking a lean protein, I use MCT oil. If I'm cooking a protein plus fat, it already has healthy fats in it. I don't need additional fats. That's when I use 0-calorie cooking spray. So let me give you a real simple example. If I'm cooking egg whites, I'm going to use medium chain triglyceride, MCT. If I am cooking a whole egg, I'm using 0-calorie cooking spray because that whole egg already has that nice, good, natural fatty yolk in it, and I don't need additional fat. So that's kind of the way I do that. Now, I had a great question one night. Somebody said, well, why would I choose to use MCT oil, which has 100 to 130 calories per tablespoon in it, versus a 0-calorie cooking spray? Here's why. Medium chain triglyceride has a muscle preserving effect and it has a metabolism building effect. And we want those things in Shibboleth, okay? So we want to preserve our muscles. That medium chain triglyceride is going to help us do that. It also, this is how it makes it the fastest fat burning combination. It is thermogenic. So it's got a metabolism building effect. So it speeds up and heats up. So therefore a little bit more calories are burned when you're eating it properly. Okay. So with that said, let me tell you how you're not going to eat it, and then remind me to tell you if I forget how to cook with it. So medium chain triglycerides on planet Shibboleth are only used in 3 ways. You can cook in a pot or a pan with it. Cook in an appropriate category. You can use it in a recipe where it calls for oil. You can make salad dressings with it. So that's it. These 3 things, that's how we're going to use MCT oil to benefit us. But there's a lot of noise out there right now about MCT, so do not be sucked in to taking it as a supplement. We don't need an extra 100 to 130 random calories. It doesn't do any good, and it's still a fat, okay? It got to be used properly. And then you don't want to make bulletproof coffee with it, and you do not want to put it in your shakes or anything like that, okay? So if you're not just cooking with it in a pot or a pan, making a recipe with it, or using it as salad, like making a salad dressing with it, you don't need to use it. So use it appropriately, or just don't use it. When you are cooking with it, make sure that you cook on low to medium heat. Otherwise, it's going to set off your smoke detector. And many a person has had that happen, and they're like, oh my goodness. And then you know what? I call them out and I'll say, you didn't do the Sunday night webinar, did you? Because I tell that on Sunday nights. But make sure that you cook on low to medium heat with that so that you don't set off that smoke detector. And one great tip for cooking is to warm up your pan first, and right before you putting your food in there, then pour the oil in and put your food in immediately, kind of quickly with that. All right, we're starting to wrap up. I just have a few more slides and they go sort of quickly. So we want to remain in EFB. efficient fat burning as often as possible. Okay. EFB, baby. I love EFB because I didn't know before Shibboleth that I could get my body into a state where when it needs energy, it's going to have to access that stored energy. It's going to have to access that fat and it's going to burn that for the energy that it needs. Okay. So after 2 perfect Shibboleth days, on your 3rd perfect day, your body is in EFB. And then you want to string as many efficient fat burning days together as you can. Get an EFB streak. If you're looking at your timing chart, you're going to see 2 green checks and then a flame. Yay, Amy! Amy just said that she just hit EFB. Way to go, Amy. And you're going to, after 2 days, your mind is starting to clear up too. There's all sorts of things that goodness is going to happen when you get into EFB. So efficient fat burning is going to show up as a flame on your timing chart. And then you want a flame streak, okay? And then planned or unplanned, a holiday is coming. We are living life. We're enjoying life. Okay. We're just using this management system to our benefit. All right. So, planned or unplanned, a holiday is coming. So, after that holiday, it takes 2 perfect days again to get your body back into EFB. And then you string as many efficient fat burning days together as you can again. All right. Now, what's happening during those 2 perfect days? Your body is dissipating itself of insulin, which we need to get rid of so we can get into our purposes of EFB. Also, any sugar like glycogen that got stored in your muscles and in your liver, it gets used up as energy. Okay. And then on that 3rd day, that 3rd perfect day, you get into EFB. And when you are in EFB, your body, when it needs the energy that it needs to live, is going to have to access stored energy. And that's just fat. And it's going to start burning it off. Okay. So it's going to use that stored energy rather than unapproved oils and starchy and sugary carbs. Okay. So that's how we burn fat off. That's exciting news. I hope y'all are sitting around just getting super excited because it is. Okay. Let's recap the fat bus. The fat bus is insulin. Insulin is a growth hormone, but not the kind of growth we want to be doing, okay? A fat storage hormone is what it is. After an insulin release, fat storage will occur up to 48 hours, meaning you're out of EFB, hence the 2 perfect days to get back into EFB. Insulin also increases appetite. Have you ever had this happen? You had some ice cream, then you wanted the honey roasted barbecue chips, and then you wanted a pickle, and then you wanted some popcorn, and you're like, oh my goodness, why is this happening? Insulin. Insulin increases your appetite. I put a little person on here. It says off the charts, that little image, because it will send it off the charts. So when you realize that's what happened, that's what's happening. Maybe if you do have some ice cream, you can say, okay, I do not want to go eating all these other things. And you can just use mind control. Not going to do it. So after the fat bus has been on its rounds, it takes 2 perfect days to get back into EFB. So now, what are you going to eat this week? Well, I'm hoping that you watched our welcome party, okay? Because that welcome party led you to some places on the website that were going to help you figure out what to purchase and to buy. So really what you need to do is you need to come up with 7 lean proteins that you like. That can be from category 1 or category 7, and then come up with 7 fibrous carbs that you like, category 2. And if you're not a big vegetable eater, if you do like some, at least put those into play, okay? And then if you don't, look at the other things that are considered fibrous carbs and pick out some of those, okay? So then, just like you were in elementary school and you had a column here and a column here, and you were supposed to match something from this column that went with this column, just say, I think 96% lean ground beef would be great with green beans tonight. I'm going to do it. And if you cooked that, they cooked that 96% lean ground meat up in MCT oil, you'd have your fastest fat burning combination, and it would be awesome. And then you're going to throw in a few meal replacements for simplicity. If you're eating Pop-Tarts and cereal and things like that now, then you're going to want some of the easy things like that to replace those things. But those easy things that we have to use are not going to bring an insulin release. They're going to have enough fiber, enough protein. They're going to have enough uh, fewer calories in them. It's the properly combined meal replacement. So you're going to want some of those just for ease sake. And honestly, I ate 20 Mighty Muffins in my first 20 days because a Mighty Muffin kept me satisfied. It also tasted good and it kept me in EFB and I wanted to be there. Let's see. Okay, Danny says green beans and extreme tortillas. Yeah, green beans are great, Danny. And the Olay Extreme Wellness High Fiber Tortilla. Yes, yes, you can do those. Okay, Amy, is grapefruits and eggs a good pairing? Okay, so actually, not whole eggs for sure, Amy, for sure. Good, Danny. I'm glad that she does. That's awesome. But Amy, not with whole eggs. If you wanted to do that with egg whites, you could. Now, what I'm telling Amy right now goes against the rules. It goes against the combination rules. But Travis and the team, over the course of these 20 years that Travis has been doing this, have determined things called perfect pairings. And what it means is it's a pairing that will help create a little perfect meal for you, but they don't follow the rules. And so if you wanted to do some grapefruit and egg whites, you could do that, but not grapefruit and whole eggs. Okay, so in the beginning, keep it super, super simple and then branch out as you continue to live and learn the lifestyle. One of the components of Shibboleth is Amy, yes, Amy, that would be considered Shibboleth. You would note that as a perfect pairing in your journal. And if you'll go into the perfect pairings, Amy, you're going to see a bunch of egg whites paired with some different fruits. And yeah, so portion controlled, that would be a perfect pairing and it would be perfect Shibboleth meal. Yes, yes. All right. Well, I love Shibboleth. And I think it is awesome and an amazing ministry that a man and his wife want to give to the world for $99 a year. That is amazing. Okay. Please tell your friends about it because you are going to eventually say that this is priceless. This information is priceless. One, you didn't have to come up with it. All you got to do is follow it. Okay. That's awesome. I love to have a shortcut and I don't mind paying for it. So 99 bucks and you're in to the Shibboleth lifestyle, the website, and the support. The support is unbelievable. Make sure that you are in the Facebook support groups because this is where members support members. And of course, it's all backed by the Shibboleth team, but there's 8,000 members in that group and we don't have that big of a team. So they monitor and they check, but members support members in there. Really good. Familiarize yourself with our awesome website. If you walk yourself through the fast track laps, just like was introduced in that welcome party, then you're going to be familiar with the website. It's going to help shorten your learning curve on the website. So make sure that you're watching that video that's on every lap. Okay, it's going to show you how to do that. I do highly suggest that you start to get to know our mentors. You might need them for different reasons. And so I would love for you to set up a getting started mentor appointment, but for next week. I want you this week to highly focus on the fast track laps because these fast track laps are a self-guided, self-paced way to hopefully get through all 7 laps in a week. 7 days, 7 laps. We can do that. The reason I want you to go through the fast track laps before having a conversation with a mentor. Now, if you need a conversation with a mentor ahead of time, do not hesitate to call. But listen to why I want you to wait till next week if possible. If you do the fast track laps, when you talk with that mentor, y'all are having a much more intelligent conversation and you're going to benefit a lot more from it if she isn't having to teach you the all the ins and outs of the lifestyle. Okay. Now, if she's just answering questions and tweaking and really helping you come up with a really great meal plan for yourself, that's going to be awesome. But if you've gone through this week and then you still don't get it, let them know because that's what they're there to do. You also can listen to this every Sunday night and every Monday night. We do the same thing every Sunday and Monday night. So you can do this as often as times as you need. Start attempting to live that lifestyle and get it going. It'll all come together, but you need to see it for what it is. a management system that is going to help you make good, educated choices. I'm going to use that, Danny, from now on. I love it. Oh, thank you, Brenda. Thank you, Lynn. Good night. Good night, Joy. And then one last thing, I want you to focus on the fast track laps. I'm going to pop over. You're welcome, Jerry. And welcome to the Shibboleth family, everybody. We're so glad you are here, and we're here for you. I'm going to stop sharing this live stuff. I'm going to go over into the fast track real quick because I want to show you something. So if you're brand new, then your fast track should be pulling up immediately when you click this dashboard button, okay? If you're not brand new, you've just never done the fast track, yours might pull up to look like this. You just need to click over where it says fast track. So in lap 1, this said register for the fast track Sunday and Monday. I'm hoping you've done that because you're here. You just click that box right there once you've registered for both of them. But now that you have participated in this webinar, you can come right down here and you can check that off. Okay. And then on lap 3, after tomorrow night, you can come and check that off. Now, if by chance you can't attend tomorrow night, this is already ready for you on demand. Or if you get super excited and you're ready to do that, you can go ahead and listen to it right there or watch it right there. But we really suggest that you come to the live class on Sunday and Monday if possible, because you can ask questions, which is a great thing. You're welcome, Amy. You're welcome, Paula. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. I hope that right now you see how, okay, it's just a management system. And how many of you are saying right now, yeah, I need help managing my life? I see posts all the time that really people they're busy. They're busy people and they need a way to manage their food intake so that they can continue to be busy people. Because if you're busy people and you're not managing your food intake, you're going to end up sitting down at some point and you're not going to want to get back up. Okay, so let's manage it. But thank y'all for spending your Sunday night with me. You're welcome, Becky. If you have not liked, you're welcome, Danny. Thank you. If you have not liked the Shibboleth public page on Facebook yet, if you're a Facebook user, please like that page. I go live Monday through Friday morning, sometime in the 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time hour with a morning focus, morning motivation, and daily devotion. So I would love to see you on there. If you like the Shibboleth public page, then you click the little 3 dots and click on notifications. You can choose be notified for all lives, and that would be a great thing. All right, y'all have a great night. Bye.